The decorated general smirked as he held up her weathered rifle for everyone to see. In an age of AI targeting systems and autonomous drones, this might be considered little more than a nostalgic toy. Laughter rippled through the crowd of military officials and defense contractors. She remained expressionless, her eyes calculating as she took back her weapon. When he challenged her to hit a target 10 miles away, he expected humiliation. Instead, her single shot revealed a stealth drone no one else could detect, and the smirk vanished from his face. Sometimes the most dangerous weapon isn't the one with the flashiest technology, but the one in the hands of someone truly skilled. From which city in the world are you watching this video today? If you enjoyed this story about underestimated excellence, consider subscribing for more tales of extraordinary people who remind us what true skill really looks like, just like the amazing content you'll find on the Whispered Stories. The morning sun cast long shadows across the International Defense Innovation Summit as Lieutenant General Marcus Thornfield strode confidently between rows of gleaming weapons platforms. His polished stars caught the light with each gesture toward the next marvel of military technology. Behind him trailed a procession of defense contractors, foreign military attachés, and politicians, all hanging on his every word. "This," Thornfield announced, stopping before a sleek autonomous targeting system, "represents the future of battlefield dominance, artificial intelligence processing 16 trillion calculations per second, accounting for every environmental variable from wind speed to electromagnetic interference." The crowd murmured appreciatively as the system demonstrated its capabilities on nearby screens, target acquisition times measured in milliseconds. "And here," he continued, moving to a display of miniaturized drones no larger than hummingbirds, "we have surveillance capabilities that can infiltrate any environment undetected, transmitting real-time intelligence while maintaining swarm cohesion." At the edge of the demonstration field stood Master Sergeant Sarah Mitchell, ramrod straight in her service uniform. Unlike the other soldiers manning the various exhibits, she displayed no cutting-edge technology. The only equipment she carried was a weathered bolt-action rifle slung across her back, its wooden stock marked with notches and scars, its once blued barrel worn to a dull patina through years of use. Thornfield's gaze caught on Mitchell's rifle, and his expression shifted subtly. He altered his path, steering the entourage toward her position. "And yet," he projected his voice for maximum effect, "even as we push the boundaries of what's possible, some remain anchored to the past." Mitchell's expression remained neutral as Thornfield approached, though her eyes, sharp and assessing, tracked his movement with quiet precision. "Master Sergeant." Thornfield addressed her loud enough for all to hear. "You requested permission to include your preferred equipment in today's demonstrations." "Yes, sir," Mitchell responded simply. The Secretary of Defense leaned toward his aide. "Who is she?" Before the aide could respond, an older veteran wearing a contractor's badge murmured, "That's Mitchell. Served with Task Force Phoenix. Most of what she did is still classified." Thornfield gestured for Mitchell to hand over her rifle, which she did with practiced efficiency. He held it aloft, turning it for the crowd to see. "This modified Remington 700 represents an earlier chapter in warfare," Thornfield announced. "A mechanical system requiring human calculation of distance, wind drift, humidity, temperature variations. All factors our automated systems now process in nanoseconds." He ran a finger along the worn stock almost dismissively. "In an age of precision, guided munitions, and target recognition algorithms, this might be considered little more than a nostalgic toy." Laughter rippled through sections of the audience. Camera flashes popped as journalists captured the moment. Mitchell stood impassive, though those closest to her might have noticed her jaw tighten almost imperceptibly. "Master Sergeant Mitchell has requested permission to demonstrate her weapons capabilities today," Thornfield continued, returning the rifle with theatrical courtesy. "We've included this in our program as a historical reference point, a reminder of how far we've come." Mitchell accepted her rifle with a crisp nod, her hands moving automatically to check that nothing had been altered during its brief display. The first test, as the crowd moved toward the demonstration range, Thornfield resumed his role as master of ceremonies. The standard range extended to 3 miles, with additional monitoring capabilities reaching much further into the restricted military testing grounds. "Today, we're demonstrating next-generation targeting systems capable of eliminating threats with unprecedented precision," Thornfield announced. "Our first demonstration will feature the XM-32 autonomous platform engaging multiple targets at the 2-mile marker." A sleek weapon system rolled into position, its sensors rotating silently as it acquired targets. Within seconds, 5 shots were fired in rapid succession. The monitors showed 5 direct hits, each within millimeters of the designated strike points. "As you can see," Thornfield continued. The XM32 achieves 99.8% accuracy at this range while accounting for variables that would challenge even our most skilled human operators. He turned toward Mitchell, who stood quietly preparing her position with methodical precision. And now, for our historical comparison, Thornfield announced, not bothering to hide his satisfaction with the contrast. Master Sergeant Mitchell will attempt to engage a single target at the same distance using her manual system. As Mitchell knelt and began setting up her rifle on its bipod, Thornfield continued his narration. While our autonomous systems calculate 64 variables simultaneously, the Master Sergeant must rely on what exactly Mitchell experience. Sir, she responded quietly, not looking up from her preparations. Experience, Thornfield repeated, allowing a small smile. How quaint. Mitchell appeared not to hear, or perhaps not to care. Her movements were economical, focused entirely on the task at hand. She removed a small notebook from her pocket, consulted what appeared to be handwritten ballistic tables, then made minute adjustments to her scope. Perhaps most telling about this comparison, Thornfield continued, is the time differential. The XM32 acquired and neutralized 5 targets in under 7 seconds. Let's see how long a traditional approach takes. Mitchell settled into position, her breathing visibly slowing as she peered through her scope. 15 seconds passed. 30 seconds. A full minute. When Mitchell finally squeezed the trigger, the rifle cracked once. On the monitor, the target showed a perfect hit, dead center. A successful engagement, Thornfield acknowledged with practiced diplomacy, though taking nearly 70 times longer than our automated system. Hours later, as the delegation completed their tour of advanced systems, Thornfield's aide approached, whispering urgently while showing him something on a tablet display. The general studied the screen, then looked thoughtfully toward Mitchell. Ladies and gentlemen, Thornfield addressed the crowd. We have an opportunity for an unplanned demonstration. Our perimeter sensors are detecting some unusual activity at an extended range position. He gestured toward the large display screens. Master Sergeant Mitchell, since you're so confident in your traditional methods, perhaps you'd care to investigate this anomaly. It's probably just wildlife, but it might make for an interesting comparison. The security officer looked confused. Sir, I'm not seeing any alerts on our system. Check the thermal imaging for Sector 12. Thornfield instructed. Mitchell stood motionless, assessing the situation. What's the range to the indicated position? She asked. Thornfield smiled slightly. Just over 10 miles, Master Sergeant. Well beyond the effective range of your equipment, I believe. A murmur ran through the audience. 10 miles was an impossible distance for conventional marksmanship. Mitchell considered the satellite feed, then nodded once. I'll take a look, sir. As Mitchell retrieved her rifle case and moved toward the firing position, Thornfield addressed the crowd. While Master Sergeant Mitchell prepares, let me explain what you're about to witness. This impromptu demonstration will highlight the limitations of traditional systems when confronted with extreme conditions. Mitchell opened her case and began assembling her rifle with practiced efficiency. From a side pocket, she removed what appeared to be a custom scope attachment, securing it with delicate precision. 10 miles, someone whispered. That's not possible. Mitchell finished her preparations and settled into position. She studied the satellite feed one final time, then focused through her scope, making minute adjustments based on calculations only she understood. The security officer monitoring thermal imaging suddenly straightened. Sir, I'm detecting an anomaly at those coordinates. It's not showing up on our standard sensors, but there's definitely something there. Thornfield's expression shifted from smugness to concern. What do you mean something's there? It's not registering on standard frequencies. Sir, but the thermal imaging is showing a heat signature that doesn't match the background. It's small, possibly aerial and maintaining position. Before Thornfield could intervene, Mitchell was already in position. Her breathing slowed to an almost imperceptible rhythm. She squeezed the trigger once. 10 long seconds passed. Then, on the monitors displaying the satellite feed, a small explosion appeared at the exact coordinates Mitchell had targeted. A previously invisible object tumbled from the sky, breaking into pieces as it hit the desert floor. The entire demonstration field fell into stunned silence. Security Team Alpha to the impact site immediately, Thornfield ordered, his voice tight with controlled urgency. Full containment protocols. The crowd erupted into excited chatter as security personnel rushed to comply. Defense contractors who had ignored Mitchell all morning now stared at her with newfound interest. How did you know? The question came from the Secretary of Defense himself. How did you identify what our systems couldn't detect? Mitchell answered with quiet confidence. Reflection pattern in heat waves at that altitude isn't natural. I've seen it before. Seen what before? Thornfield demanded. Chinese stealth reconnaissance drone, XR-7 variant. They've made some modifications since the last time I encountered one, but the thermal signature is distinctive once you know what to look for. Director Patricia Hayes stepped forward from the crowd, her civilian clothes belying her authority. General Thornfield, I believe we need to secure this area immediately and debrief Master Sergeant Mitchell in a more appropriate setting. As Thornfield moved to coordinate security, Director Hayes turned to Mitchell. That was quite a shot, Master Sergeant. Thank you, ma'am. Most people don't know about the XR-7 program. It's still classified at the highest levels. Mitchell met her gaze steadily. Yes, ma'am. Hayes studied her for a moment. Your file doesn't do you justice, Mitchell. I've read the redacted versions, of course, but clearly there's more to your service record than what's available. Task Force Phoenix operated under special compartmentalization, ma'am. So I've been told. Hayes smiled slightly. Perhaps we should discuss your future assignments after this summit concludes. In the Secure Command Center, intelligence officers reviewed satellite imagery of the downed drone. Fragments had been scattered across a wide area, suggesting it carried a self-destruct mechanism. Preliminary analysis confirms it's Chinese, announced Colonel Rebecca Stone, head of Summit Security. Advanced stealth technology with multispectral sensors. It was capturing everything from today's demonstrations. How long was it there? Thornfield demanded. Based on trajectory analysis, it likely arrived shortly after the summit began this morning. Our standard detection grid never registered its presence. Director Hayes observed from the doorway. If Master Sergeant Mitchell hadn't identified it, we would never have known we were being monitored. All eyes turned to Mitchell, who stood quietly reviewing the technical data. These sensor packages are new, more sophisticated than what I've encountered before. You've encountered similar drones? Colonel Stone asked sharply. Mitchell glanced at Director Hayes, who nodded slightly. During certain operations with Task Force Phoenix, we neutralized 3 similar platforms between 2020 and 2023. A junior intelligence officer entered carrying a folder with bright red security markings. General Thornfield, sir. The file you requested on Master Sergeant Mitchell. Thornfield accepted the folder but hesitated, glancing at Mitchell. With your permission, Master Sergeant. The simple gesture of respect wasn't lost on anyone in the room. Mitchell nodded once. Thornfield opened the folder and began reading, his expression growing increasingly surprised. 27 confirmed long-range eliminations beyond 3,000 meters. 4 presidential unit citations. The Distinguished Service Cross. He looked up. This says you declined promotion to officer ranks 3 times. I'm more effective in my current role, sir. Thornfield continued reading, then stopped abruptly. This can't be accurate. It says Master Sergeant Mitchell holds the confirmed distance record for precision marksmanship at 8 miles. That record is now outdated. Hayes replied with a small smile. As of today. Before anyone could process this fully, alarms blared throughout the command center. Colonel Stone rushed to the main display. We've got multiple heat signatures using the parameters Master Sergeant Mitchell provided. 3 more drones, different positions around the perimeter. Can our defensive systems engage them? Thornfield asked. Negative, sir. They're still not registering on our target acquisition systems. Thornfield turned to Mitchell. It seems we need your expertise again, Master Sergeant. I'll need a spotter this time for multiple targets in different locations. Take whoever you need, Thornfield ordered. Mitchell's eyes settled on Lieutenant Jake Rivera, who had approached her earlier. Lieutenant, have you done any spotting work? Yes, Master Sergeant. Advanced sniper training at Quantico. Graduated top of my class. You'll do. Grab a spotting scope and meet me at the north firing position in 5 minutes. The hunt continues outside. Mitchell moved swiftly to the north firing position, which offered the best vantage point of the perimeter areas where the drones had been detected. Lieutenant Rivera joined her moments later. Set up there, Mitchell instructed. We'll start with the northernmost target and work clockwise. Rivera complied immediately, establishing his position with efficient movements. Ready when you are, Master Sergeant. Mitchell assembled her rifle, making additional adjustments to account for different firing angles and changing atmospheric conditions. From her pocket, she removed a small device that looked like a modified smartphone. What's that? Rivera asked. Custom atmospheric density meter. At extreme distances, you need to account for air density variations at different altitudes along the bullet's path. First target is approximately 11.2 miles at bearing 015, Rivera reported. Thermal signature consistent with your description. Mitchell settled into position, entering what snipers referred to as the zone. A state of hyperfocus where external distractions faded away. One at origin 3 miles per hour from the west, Rivera reported. Humidity 12%. Temperature 94 degrees at ground level. Mitchell made minute adjustments, checking her atmospheric meter one final time. Her breathing slowed to an almost imperceptible rhythm. She squeezed the trigger between heartbeats. 15 seconds passed. Target down. Rivera confirmed. Clean hit. Without celebration, Mitchell cycled her bolt and prepared for the next target. The second and third drones fell with the same unerring accuracy. As applause erupted from the assembled officials watching from a distance, Mitchell seemed almost embarrassed by the attention, focusing instead on properly securing her equipment. Master Sergeant. Rivera stared at her with undisguised admiration. That was the most impressive shooting I've ever witnessed. Just doing my job, Lieutenant. With all due respect, what you just did goes well beyond any job description I'm familiar with. General Thornfield approached as she finished packing. Master Sergeant Mitchell, I believe I speak for everyone when I say we owe you a debt of gratitude. Your actions today prevented a significant intelligence breach. Just doing my duty, sir. Your duty today included making me reconsider some firmly held beliefs about the future of warfare. Thornfield extended his hand. Thank you. The evening briefing revealed the true scope of the security breach. 4 advanced stealth drones had penetrated their perimeter undetected by conventional means, capturing comprehensive data on the summit's most sensitive demonstrations. What I still don't understand, Thornfield admitted to the assembled group, is how Master Sergeant Mitchell identified threats our most advanced systems missed completely. Mitchell stepped forward reluctantly. The Chinese XR-7 drone program has a distinctive thermal signature. Their stealth technology focuses on radar and standard electromagnetic detection, but creates a unique disturbance in thermal layers that's identifiable if you know what to look for. Director Hayes addressed the room. For those unfamiliar with the program, Task Force Phoenix operated under special authorities between 2019 and 2024, focusing on counterintelligence against advanced technological threats. Master Sergeant Mitchell was their primary precision specialist. The following morning, word had spread among select military personnel about Mitchell's extraordinary skills. With General Thornfield's approval, she agreed to conduct an impromptu master class for several special operations snipers. Her extreme distance shooting isn't about equipment, though that matters. She began, uncomfortable with public speaking but passionate about the technical aspects. It's about understanding the environment between you and your target. She demonstrated her custom atmospheric density meter, explaining how it detected variations invisible to standard equipment. She showed them her modified scope system, which incorporated calculations for Earth's rotation and curvature at extreme distances. Most importantly, she shared her methodical approach to problem solving, emphasizing that technological tools enhanced human skill rather than replaced it. From a respectful distance, General Thornfield watched with Director Hayes. She's a natural teacher. Hayes observed, though I doubt she realizes it. I'm still processing what she accomplished, Thornfield admitted. Not just the shots themselves, but identifying threats our most advanced systems missed entirely. After the training session concluded, Mitchell stood alone on the range, looking out at distant targets barely visible on the horizon. General Thornfield approached one final time. Have you made a decision about our proposal for the new training initiative? Not yet, sir. I need more time. Of course. He gestured toward the horizon. One last question. Yesterday, when you took those shots, what were you thinking about? Mitchell considered carefully. Nothing, sir, and everything. It's a state of complete focus where calculations and instinct merge. You become aware of every variable, but process them as a unified whole. Thornfield nodded thoughtfully. That's something no AI system we've developed can replicate. The integration of calculation and intuition. Technology and human skill aren't opposing forces, sir. At their best, they're complementary. Wisdom I wish I'd recognized sooner, Thornfield acknowledged. Whatever you decide about your next assignment, Master Sergeant Mitchell, I hope you'll continue sharing that perspective. We need it now more than ever. As Thornfield departed, Mitchell remained on the range a moment longer, gazing at the distant horizon where impossibility had given way to achievement. The future would bring new challenges, new technologies, new debates about the role of human expertise in an increasingly automated world. But for now, she had demonstrated something timeless, the value of experience, intuition, and the quiet excellence that asks for no recognition but deserves it all. Sometimes the most dangerous weapon isn't the one with the flashiest technology, but the one in the hands of someone who truly understands their craft. Master Sergeant Sarah Mitchell proved that human skill, when properly applied, could still accomplish what machines could not through brute force or advanced algorithms, but through the irreplaceable combination of experience, intuition, an unwavering dedication to excellence. In an age rushing toward full automation, she reminded everyone present that the human element wasn't a weakness to be eliminated, but a strength to be cultivated and respected.